Hello everyone, short video about how I use Obsidian to collaboratively use Markdown and how I integrate it into my book within my main vault. So recently I found a way to integrate different vaults into my single vault. I wouldn't say that's like a common practice, but it helped me a lot for my book because in my book I reference to a lot of terms that I have in my second brain, and this way I can easily look up that term within my second brain, and I don't need to switch between vaults. And just this week I also found a way to actually collaboratively use Markdown. I knew how to use that with HackMD already before, but now I also integrated it into my Obsidian brain. So I quickly wanted to showcase these two things. So first I will start with the Obsidian, and the HackMD. So HackMD is this collaborative Markdown tool. So if you go on HackMD, this is the starting page when you logged in. Maybe if you're new, they revamped their whole page, so you can see very easily what you can do. It's basically Google Docs, but for within Markdown you can work with different users, you can comment, you can suggest. So it's a really great way of working collaboratively with Markdown. But it's not where it ends, right? Because you have Markdown, you would also like to use your tools. So maybe you want to edit in with Neovim or Obsidian or Visual Studio Code. They actually have a great integration. I can show that quickly later with Visual Studio Code. So you can actually connect to the document and use Visual Studio Code live. But I took it a step further and wanted to integrate it with my Obsidian. And actually the way you do that, I created here a GitHub repository for my writing. So that's kind of a prerequisite that you have a GitHub repository. And then you go to HackMD, you go in your settings, and then you integration link with your GitHub. And here you need to do that one time for each document. So if you pull from GitHub, I didn't authorize it yet. So if I choose here, I will not get it. So I can authorize more repository. I choose this one, and then you can choose the writing. So I just quickly showcase that, and now if I go again in my link to my GitHub and then I pull from it, it will show up here in this one. You can choose a main branch, and then you can, for example, choose the README file, and then it tells you can see the changes. That's now the changes that was like the default from the README. You can then apply them, and then you synchronize them with your HackMD. So now they're here as well, right? And then, for example, you can sync here, version and GitHub sync. So that's the only downside. You kind of need to do that manually. So, for example, you can add a batch so that you automatically have the link to the node. You can add that. Then you save it. You say adding batch. So that's basically the git commit, right? And then you can push it, adding that. Yeah, and then obviously you will see that in your repository. So now the link is here, right? And the cool thing is now if I check that out here locally, I did that here already. So if I do a git pull and open it, yeah, you see it's now here, right? So I can now change something here. and then push it. And then, yeah, if I want to have the same in HackMD, I need to go here and pull the changes. So that's a little bit the only downside. But this one I use if I like work on my own, and then, yeah, I'll push at the end. I push it, or here and there I push, so people can see it. And then it's here. But if you work collaboratively, you can just you can also use the web version, right? You can use the Vim extension here, and then you can like right here, and this is all live. So if people work on can work on the same document, you have like a preview version, or you can also do the preview. You can comment, suggest, edit. So you can change this, and then you can add a reason. So it's quite cool how they did it, or how they upgraded it. That wasn't like this a couple of months or a year ago, but now it seems to be very, very good. And that's that way. But now the cool thing is if I want to work live on it, I can open Visual Studio Code, and then this is the HackMD extension. And if I go here on this one here, this one is now live, right? So I can now use all my shortcuts from Visual Studio Code. I change here, and if I save that, it's directly changed. So right, we can actually here now work together. So that's when you work live. That works quite well. But what if you want to have that now in your Obsidian vault, right? So what I did is I did the same for the book. I will show that later, but I had to add a Symlink. So because this is now not in my vault, right? I have that here somewhere in my Git here. What I do now is I go to my Obsidian vault, my second brain, and then I navigate where I wanted to have it. Yeah, I have it now here, I think. And if I do, let me check quickly. I would need to do a Symlink. Yeah, this one is the command you will do. So you do ln-s. So ln-s. Actually, I symlinked the whole folder, so that should already be in my vault. So if I go now in my let's say in my folder, so it's now here, right? So if I go here, I have it now in my second brain. So I can hello world, and if I save that now, that is obviously only local, right? So I can go to, let's say, where I have been before. As a spatty writing. Where did I put that? SSPD, okay. Here, so this now also here, right? So the only thing I need to do after, let's say I added a big chunk here, and now I'm finished. I want to share with someone. I can like commit again, and yeah, then it's again in the HackMD as well. And the cool thing now is, although this is in a GitHub repository, right? I have it now in my vault, and I can link to, I don't know, Remco Evenepoel, and then I have a link here, right? So it's, although this one won't be accessible within the GitHub repository, so if I want the others to be able to to access the images or the links, I would need to add them within the GitHub repo. But this is mainly for me in the brainstorming or initial phase. And this is a very nice way of working with that. And speaking of that, I have a totally different repository for my book. So I have the, let's say if we go on my GitHub here and then I go on my book. Yeah, I'm writing my book all on GitHub. So this is my private GitHub repository. And I have all the chapters in here, right? And what I do, so if I go on the images here, for example, this business intelligence link. Let's open this now. This is the history of state of data engineering. And I link to my business intelligence. And if I click that, that is my second brain, right? And the way I did that, I just used the wiki-links from Obsidian. So I didn't really manually link to all. If it's a link not to my second brain, then I added a real link. But other than that, and that's most of the case also, they're just pointing to my second brain. And before I had a separate vault for this book, or I used it in Neovim, right? So if I go into my book here, I have a special session here. And then obviously I can open that chapter. Which one is it? That's the history. So then we are here, business intelligence. That should be in the very top. So here is the business intelligence, and you see it's just a wiki link. And I wrote a little bit, a small plugin for the MD book that I'm using that converts this to basically a link to my second brain. But obviously, if I open that in my vault here, let's say I quickly open the book here, and then I open the history. Yeah, you see now, this is now a wiki link, but I cannot go there, right? Because it doesn't exist within my vault. But now, with this Symlink within my second brain, I have them all in here. So if I open his history, data in here. So this is the exact same file, but within my main vault. So if I open this now, you see I just, that's also a Symlink. So the book, that's the same, but this is not within my vault. It's just a Symlink to my Git repository. Now I have all the chapters within my vault, and now you see the business intelligence link, and now I can click on it because this is the business intelligence is in my vault. And this is really how I work, right? When I do any kind of chapters, I start out with a new idea. And then, I start writing. Maybe it reminds me of Kafka. And then I have a link to Kafka. And then, I might do them side by side. And then I can jump forth and back. I can write something, and then maybe I can use something like this and see the. Okay, what is the connection? Oh, it connects to semantic layer. So I'll add a link to semantic layer, and then maybe I discovered there's also semantic models, so then I can open that. I see all the links here. I see a metrics layer, and I will maybe open them side by side, and then I can actually see okay, and all of this will then like add to my brainstorming and gives me ideas that I wouldn't have otherwise. And it's just simply I can just use the wiki links. And because my if I like run my book here, I have a make command, it will start up my second brain locally and also my book. And then now I have an error. I haven't checked that, what is happening here, but hopefully it still works. So if I go here and the same, so this is now linking to my second brain, right? As you can see. So this is, I even have another small script that I can activate. So if I go in configs, not config, what is that? I need to go one up. Toml, this one. So I have this, I have this URL check. So if I say this true, and I had already started. It should check, yeah, it's checking now all the links if they're valid, right? If they're online on my second brain, because sometimes I have private nodes that are not online. And this is just the ways that I make sure that everything I link to, that they're online on my second brain. I'm not sure what is the state now. I didn't do that for long, but now you see it. So this schema registry is not, this is only a private node. This node exists, but it's private. So I would need now to rework that a bit and publish it, and then do it again just to check. So that's basically the way I use that. And since I have found the way to symlink everything, I can really do everything from one vault here. I want to make that smaller, so it's a hassle. Come on. So yep. So and yeah, obviously this blog post here is also published. So if you haven't seen my last video, I encourage you to watch this, because there I show how I can just add this publish hashtag and then it will be online, right? So if you go on my second brain, this is actually the website, and then this is online, right? So here I describe how I actually do it. It's, yeah, I was a bit amazed how this works with Symlinks. And yeah, it's actually the way it does for Obsidian. It's just like a normal node. So it's also history. It's also all the let's say these chapters. Let's say history. This one is yeah, although it's in GitHub, it's also now in my vault. So I can go now in the history of my sync here, and it's now, yeah, synced with Obsidian as well. I don't know if that causes any problems so far. I haven't encountered them, but it's, yeah, if I change now here something, the Obsidian sync will obviously track the changes, but on the same time I also have it here in my GitHub repo, right? So let me, if I go here, so if I open this, so you see now the change in the history here. Yeah, I already added here something, but I also added yeah, these lines here, right? So yeah, it's now twice, but yeah, I kind of like this, because whenever I accidentally do something, or even another thing is, if I now rename this business intelligence, it will also rename it within my book. So this is really a great way. And then with the Git, I can actually check if that is, if everything was done correctly, because sometimes the capitalization, so if I do it a small capital, maybe in the book I still want it big, or the other way around, so I can actually check them in the GitHub thing. Yeah. So let me check. Yeah, I think this was the two things I wanted to show with the HackMD, how we can collaboratively yeah, use that. This is also a tweet I did recently, so you can actually have now the same Markdown within your HackMD, but then you have the web version, you have the Visual Studio Code, they are kind of live. You have Neovim and Obsidian that work via Git and GitHub, so there you can do the big chunk and really the deep work, how I like to call it. And when I'm finished, I will publish via Git, and then you need to do this, yeah, the thing I showed you, that you need to kind of pull your latest changes here, because before I publish something, so there will be a pull now. You need to pull. You see the changes, you can apply them, and now they're in sync again with the online thing. So that's, but that's actually how I work with Markdown, because usually I don't just write small things, right? I do the bulk of the article first, and then that's the way you can use that. Yes, that's another rambling video. I hope this is useful, and please let me know, yeah, if I missed something or if you would like to know anything more. And yeah, if you have worked with HackMD, I would love to hear your thoughts and your opinions. I think Google Docs is still the king of collaboration, but yeah, if you work with Markdown, it's just a hassle to always copy. So if you want to export, I have these pandocs, and then I can export. What I usually do, I export either to this free open document, and then I have my export pandocs, and then I can open that. And then I copy that into any Google Docs, right? So if I copy that, I can docs new, copy that. And then this one I like more than Google Docs because it keeps the headings. But yeah, the pictures doesn't work, and the links even works, but of course the internal links doesn't work. But this one is the best way I found. But yeah, if now someone commented here, yeah, and then I want to paste again, I lose it, or I'm still not 100% sure if all the, for example, if I do some, yeah, do I have some code here? If you do code blocks, SQL from blah, yeah, this kind of stuff gets a bit, it even converts it as a, let's say, Curious New or Time Roman, so that you see it's different. But yeah, you can change it or you can convert it one time and work with it, but yeah, there's no really going back afterwards. Or there's an extension, what I sometimes use, that you can convert this one now to Markdown. So that is when you want to take it out, but you see it's now not so nice anymore, and yeah, it did the bold in the headers, which I didn't have here. So yeah, it's just not so nice way. But if you're not fully in the Google Docs ecosystem, or maybe you only need to work with 1 or 2 people, I think this HackMD is really a nice collaboration. And you don't need to do the workaround with the GitHub. You can just also use the web version and the Visual Studio code extension, and then you're good to go. So yeah, thanks for that, and have a great day.